Thank you for joining us all. And prior to starting with a demonstration of Acumatica, we like to point out three things that we believe distinguishes the product. And these things will become evident in the demonstration. First of all, it's a very modern, millennial-friendly, and feature-rich product. So it was architected about 10 years ago with the latest software technologies, and that will become evident in the demo. The second thing that distinguishes the product is that behind the scenes, it has a workflow and business event-driven logic. So think of all the rote activities that go in an ERP system, like generating invoices or sending out approvals for any purchase over 10 grand, or a special quote on a dispatch job that has to get the owner's approval. All of this can be automated, and the system affects the transmission of the data versus a human being having to push buttons. So it's like having an automated 7x24 employee behind the scenes. Not many products have this feature, and it really distinguishes Acumatica from a competitive perspective. And then the final thing, IoT means the Internet of Things. AI, artificial intelligence, and BI for business intelligence. Every single screen in Acumatica has web services to it. We've integrated it to banks, warehouse systems, tax databases. You've got fuel systems in your business, and we're going to show you how Acumatica is very easily integrated, like to routing systems, Google Maps, that type of thing. So, Eric, if you'll flip into the day in the life of the product now, and imagine you're going to work, and what you want to know is those things that are most important in your business. So Acumatica has a complete set of user-defined dashboards. So this one here is something that that your salesperson might see, because you see at the top, it's the sales opportunities. So these are all the leads and whatnot. First of all, I got 8 late orders. So it's in red. If I had no red orders, that tile would be in green. I mean, you can color code them, red, yellow, green, all that kind of stuff. If Eric double clicks on that right now, boom, it brings you right into the package. And now you see the individual transactions. And everywhere you see data, like the first line in the row of the order number ending in 730, if I double click on that hyperlink, I will go right into the package. So it's very easy navigation back and forth. We'll now go back to the tile screen or the dashboard itself. And this is designed for those things that are most important to you. So for a sales manager, it's open quotes and opportunities, ones where maybe customers have not responded yet. Maybe he's looking at receivables and that type of thing from customers. All of this is easily customizable. You don't have to be a developer or a programmer to do it. You just learn how to generate widgets, and you see tiles, you see bar charts, you see pie charts. You see recent activities there on the right, left. That's just a list. You have all sorts of features that you have there. You see your customer contacts on the bottom, all that kind of thing. So all of these. Now, please go to the dashboard menu, and out of the box, you get all of these role-based dashboards. So for controllers and AP clerks and your field service guys and your project dashboards, and we would imagine you would have a dashboard for dispatchers, a dashboard for the accounting group in the specific application that you're looking at in terms of selectives offering. So each one of these are different. So let's just click on the controller one, because that's one that we typically use. And here you can see your AR, amounts balance, people that owe money, how much money you got in the bank, that type of thing. And again, this is all designed to be customized to the particular user. So that's the dashboards. Now you see on the left-hand side the navigation. We're just going to go over to, let's go to the sales menu. Now, the reason I'm bringing this up is to show you going left to right. These are all the functions that you get with sales orders or purchase orders or inventory or service orders or dispatch orders. So you got transactions. That's where you're entering the order itself. You've got processes. Processes, when I talked about that 7x24, you might want to process all your shipments prior to 4 o'clock because you got UPS coming at 5 and you need to give the guys in the warehouse enough stuff to do. Printing out statements automatically. Anytime someone goes over 30 days, you can set the system up with a calendar and a schedule. And maybe if you could just go to the calendar real quick there, Eric, just to show an example of that. And while he's doing that, Acumatica's got about 300 reports out of the box that can all be automated. And then you got your setup screens. And here we're just going in and we're setting up, you bring up the calendar. Go ahead, Eric.
You met in the processing screen? Is that
just to show that, hey, send this out every Tuesday at 3 o'clock, that kind of stuff.
Sorry.
Right? Yeah, no problem. So I'm going a little too fast. But I just wanted to show you how easy it is. You know the basic workflows of your business. So here, we're going to print and email out orders. This could be a thank you notice, a notification to your customer. Thank you for ordering our trucking services. And so every workday, Monday through Friday, this notification is going to go out at 5 o'clock in the afternoon when the business is shutting down so you don't put a load on the computer. And it's going to go generate, you did 50 orders that day, and 50 notifications are going to go out with all the detail on when their product was picked up, when it was shipped, all that kind of stuff. And if you want to give them location data on an ongoing basis, you can set the system up to do kinds of stuff like that. So that gets back to that 7x24 employee we talked about, all the reports that we talked about, etc. So now we thought we'd just go to a sales order screen for a second. And first of all, just make the screen smaller. So imagine you're on a 15-inch workbench, or excuse me, a view right now because you're on your computer. But then I want to bring it down to a 7-inch tablet that I may have in a truck. Well, notice how I go from 2 columns to 1 column. The system automatically morphs to the size of the computing device that you're using. So it's kind of cool. So you don't have to worry about conforming to a 7-inch tablet. And we run on PCs. It runs on Macs. It runs on any Edge, Chrome, you name it. It doesn't matter what the browser type is. All are supported by the system. So it makes it very, very user-friendly. Now, this is a major screen. So you got the top part where the header is, and in this case, I just brought up a sales order, your order, all of that thing. And on the bottom, you have your document details. So why don't we just put a customer in there and order something real quick? So I'm going to watch this. I type in school, and it's the USA Bartending School because the characters SCHOOL correlate to that. You're going to find great universal search capabilities. We'll talk about that in a moment. And I got my contact, and I'm going to go sell them something. And it's a laptop, and we're just showing you this to show you kind of the ease of use of putting in information and data. Now, click on item availability, if you will. Within Acumatica, you have all these screens designed to minimize user keystrokes. So in this case, we're seeing how many of these items that we're selling are available in the various warehouses. There's another screen that shows you how many of what you've sold to that customer in the last month, 3 months, years, 2 years, automatically. And you get this in the purchasing side, you get it in the sales side. At the end of this, we're going to show you how easy it is to develop screens like this. And so think of the proverbial diamond with many, many facets, and you can filter the view into the single database. And Acumatica provides you the development environment to do this. Now, in the sales order screen, we've shown you the details. And if you look at the tabs going left to right, details, estimates, taxes, commissions, etc. Let's click on financial just for a second. Everything is tied to the general ledger. These are all the financial conditions like payment methods and whether you take credit cards and all of that stuff. We're showing you this because Acumatica is a full-featured Tier 2 ERP product. So when you look at the accounting capabilities of a Great Plains or a Sage product, that Acumatica is feature-rich. It has all the types of things that you would expect it. Show the correlation to the general ledger, please. Yes. all your GL accounts are defined. So all of that. So for your detail and your auditing and all that. We won't go into everything here with commissions and whatnot, but I would ask, Eric, if you don't mind, let's go and show notes. You've got notes at the header level, and you've got notes at the line level. Nice feature. Second thing, up at the top, see the word activities. Acumatica tracks all the internal communication and external communication associated with every transaction. So if you are sending emails back and forth to a buyer on a given order, those emails will be stored in the order itself, which is very, very cool. The second thing is you have the ability to internally send an email to personnel in the house. And that could be, hey, double wrap this pallet with extra bubble wrap and make sure that you mark the customer's PO in red letters on a big piece of paper because that's the way they like it. And so you got special instructions that can go in there. And all of that, again, can be date and time stamped. And when you generate this task, it's going to show up on a task list on the dashboard or a task list on a screen, or you're going to get a notification on your smartphone that says, go do something. And all of this stuff gets tracked. So that, again, this is back to this user-friendly 7x24 employee because the paper goes away and this internal kind of messaging system for both internal and external comes up. The next thing that's really cool is files. Now, files, Eric's going to go grab a file off of his desktop and drop it in there. And Acumatica allows you to take any electronic document and link it to a transaction or to, using GP speak, a card file. So if I've got contracts on a customer and I want all of those contracts in the customer file, it's as simple as dragging and dropping it. If I have special instructions or I want to show the invoice or a special bill of lading on something and it's a document, I can scan it and get it into Acumatica. I can attach it to an email and get it into Acumatica. I can link all of those documents into the product. So people really, really like this feature because it allows you to marry the transactional data of an ERP system to the non-transactional data of Word, Excel, pictures, videos, etc. So that's another nice feature associated with the product. Customization we're going to get to later. I don't want to go there yet, but all the screens are, you can adjust them and that type of thing. And let's see, Eric. Oh, one last thing, Eric. On this order, go to rate shopping for a second, please. And we noticed that we indicated to you that Acumatica has web services throughout the system. So here's a way that at the time of the sales order, you can punch out to the parcel post guys like FedEx or UPS and get the rate of shipping a product from point A to point B. So, you know, it's a 10-pound box and you'll get the MSRP rate to give to the customer if you don't have shipping and handling, which you could do. And you also get to bring in your negotiated rate. So I know in your business, you go out and you might go check this, that, and the other database, and you want to bring it in. Well, because of the superior integration capabilities, here what we're doing is at the time of the order entry, we're determining the cost of the freight versus at the time of shipping. So that can go into the quote. It can go into the amount you charge on the credit card, which, by the way, is another integration. The whole system is integrated with Authorize.net, and so you can do credit card sales and e-banking, all of those electronic means in today's modern millennial-friendly world are supported by Acumatica. And we've done all sorts of things, and there's all sorts of tools now to link to banks. Like people would B&M of the fact that QuickBooks has got all this neat integration to banks, and how come, Sage and Great Plains don't? Acumatica does. So another nice feature in terms of putting together an application on this product. Okay, enough of that. Now let's go to generic inquiries. So one of the really neat things about Acumatica is that it's got this feature called a generic inquiry. So here we're talking about an AR invoice, but this could be customers, it could be shipments, it could be AP. They're throughout the system. So if I go and let's go to unit cost column and just do the ascending. So now I'm moving the highest to the lowest or the lowest to the highest. I can go contains. I can go equal. That kind of stuff. So all the features that you kind of see in Excel. Now Eric's going to say, hey, I'm going to move these columns around because I want to see extended cost between this and that column versus where it is now. So this is the user, right? This is not a developer doing this kind of stuff, right? And then you can hit the save button just like you do for favorites on your URL, modern system, to save it. The next thing Eric's going to is you see this particular generic inquiry has all these fields in the database you can choose from. But maybe you don't need all this data. Maybe you only need a subset. So you can easily go in and modify it to what is most productive for you or for that user. Save it so that you go the next time it's already there for you, and do this. Now, the key with this generic inquiry is you get a ton out of the box. We're going to show you if you don't have data in the out of the box that you want to see, how easy it is to add additional columns. That's a piece of cake. The next thing is it's the generic inquiries are what drive those dashboards you saw when we started off. This is how you get the data. And Acumatica gives you really easy ways one of the big concerns always with systems are you got to know the data tables to get the data on the screen. Acumatica, we'll show you later, makes that extremely easy for you. So here's a view that, a shipping clerk might want. And Eric, I'll be quiet for a little minute, just kind of showing you can walk through this, how you can go into the GI screen right now, pull all that data out from that generic inquiry, filter it on, whether you want it by the week or the month or the year, yada, 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 whether it's for this warehouse or that warehouse, etc. All that filtering, go back to all the values that are associated with that area, set it up. You become proficient at this, and it's really easy to optimize it for a customer, and boom, you got your widget. And then, you got it. You can make it a pie chart or a bar chart or whatever makes sense. The next neat thing is you see that little Excel button right there? If I click on that Excel button, I have a two-way integration with Excel. So this is yet another integration that's out of the box. The accountants love it. People that work with Excel love it. And the other really neat thing about it is that when the Excel pops up, I don't know, has it yet, Eric?
No.
Okay.
I have my Excel. Let me just bring something up.
All right. Give us a second, guys, because I think this is worth showing you. And Gary, we doing okay?
Yes. Fine.
Good. All right. We're just going to a different system here. You can see how you can personalize it. Notice how that screen's red. If you got different companies and different divisions, you can make one red, white, and blue. You can different colors so that your people don't get confused, stuff like that. Lots of features like this.
Okay, so.
All right. And so notice he typed the word invoice in the universal search. We're going to get that to a moment. This is to find stuff. So here we've got a generic inquiry, and we're going to click that little Excel button. The wheel turns, and it goes out to Excel. And the key behind this is that when it goes to Excel, the values and the rows line up. A lot of times when you do this, you've got the header at the top and row 1, 2, and 3. Not with Acumatica. The parameters go to a second worksheet in this workbook. In this case, all the title headings are exactly the way you wanted it. All the data is there. And obviously, you can start doing your Excel stuff. The and is you can save this as a template so that without going into Acumatica the next time, you can open up this Excel sheet, go to the data ribbon, hit refresh, put in your credentials, and it will go out and automatically capture the data from Acumatica and update this report. So this is what it does with Excel. It also works out of the box for larger customers for things like Tableau or Microsoft Business BI. We don't need to go there, Eric. It's okay.
Okay.
And all sorts of other fancy data warehousing tools that have state-of-the-art graphics and data files. So for the larger trucking companies that are capturing data from multiple sources and they want to populate something like a Tableau, Acumatica right out of the box sends its data there. So it's really kind of cool. So that's our generic inquiries. Could you show a side panel? And I'm sorry. Eric's also showing that on these generic inquiries, you have sliced and diced pivoting capability. So typically you don't get in the ERP system pivot capabilities or the ability to add up all the values in a given column and come to the value on the bottom. Acumatica gives you both of those capabilities. So again, really cool. And if you notice the numbers that are blue, you can double click on that and it will bring you right into the transaction. So, you're over budget on something. What the heck's going on here? Double click. Okay, someone bought something that was way off the budget, and that's why it blew my numbers out for this date. That kind of stuff. So, all of this is really easy to set up, and stuff that used to cost $10,000 with GP, like you can do like for a couple $100 with the tools that are in this package. All right. So then I thought we would go to attributes for a second. And we're typing in attributes. We have universal search, common settings attributes. And the reason I went here is Acumatica allows the end user unlimited user-defined fields. And they're called attributes. And so you can set the attribute up. Notice on the control type, you can be yes, no, text field, pick one item from a drop-down, pick multiple items from a drop-down, select your switches, all of that. So all the various commands that you have to fill in a field. And then you can put this attribute in your purchasing screen, in your sales screen, in your inventory screen. It doesn't matter. And the neat thing is you can report against them. So it adds it to the database. So that used to be a thing. Oh, you make a field, but then you got to spend a lot more money to report on the field. Here, when you add it, because of the more modern software technologies, it adds that to that area in Acumatica. Let's say it's purchasing, that you're adding it, and you're developing a series of attributes that focus on vendor responsiveness and how you define the vendor and their ability to service your needs. So every time you do a deal with a vendor, you grade them, and the grades are in the attributes, and then you want to report on it. You can do that. And so really neat feature. Lots of folks like this capability of Acumatica. Next thing we've kind of showed you a little bit is universal search. So I'll let Eric finish up here because he's adding an attribute, I think. Yeah. And then he added that attribute, and there it is. Evaluation data that we just created as a attribute, user-defined field, is now part of my GI. That's simple. And now I can report on it as part of my process. So you can literally sit down with customers in front of them and configure their systems for you to optimize their operations. Now, customer calls up, says, hey, what about this invoice or, this thing, bill of lading 1099? You pop it in there, and it tells you every instance that 1099 is in Acumatica. So first of all, we use 1099 because at the end of the year, if you got vendors, you got to generate 1099s. But if I had it in a PO, it would come up in transactions or profiles. So these are all like the POs and whatnot that had the letter 1099 in it. The other neat thing is that you see help text and files. And we bring up 1099 because this is something that the accounting group does once a year. So maybe you forget how to do it. Well, everything within Acumatica is well documented in a wiki document management system at your fingertips. And this is on inventory valuation. This is on purchasing rules, replenishment rules, commission rules, you name it. You can go to the help desk, find it, click on it. Once you click on one, doesn't really matter. And then it will give you step-by-step instruction on how to set this up, what it is out of the box in Acumatica, etc. So another nice feature of these modern packages is the manual's built into the system. The manual is robust, and you have the ability to modify the manual if you want. So if you're thinking about developing an application and you document it, heck, you just document it in the system. There it is. And the screens that you build. So it's really, really, really nice feature about this. Okay, we've got just a few more to go. So If you don't mind, Eric, go to the enable disable screen. So we're just going to type in enable disable. And that gives me my menu. And then I go here and I'll give you guys, just go slow, please, Eric. Acumatica is a full feature ERP product. So these are all of the modules and submodules / major functions within the product. So all of your, it's a multi-company, multi-site, multi-warehouse, multi-bin, etc. So all of that, you can see all the setups. And if you click the button, it's active. If you don't click it, it's not active. Obviously, you got to pay for it in the subscription. But you can see all of the functions that you would associate with a full accounting system, all of your distribution and trade modules, full-on requisitions that complements purchasing, by the way, sales order types, very robust inventory. Slow down just for a second. It's got a customer portal. So one of those views to that diamond can be a portal where you can give users the ability to log in and look at stuff that might be of interest to you. There's all the platform technology. You notice field level audit. That happens to be kind of cool. The approval workflows. Those are all of those behind the scenes 7x24s that we mentioned. Now look at the third-party integrations. These are the ones that Acumatica supports out of the box. So there's a couple of B2C websites that they support, like BigCommerce and Shopify, credit card processing and shipping we mentioned, and Outlook, which is Exchange we mentioned. They also interface to Salesforce and HubScout, which is a big marketing program. Procore, which yours truly doesn't know about. Oh, and then WorkWave route automation. We're going to show you that in a second. We're going to kind of end on that and how we can track trucks and track people in the field. There's full-on manufacturing. And now, if you don't mind, I was just going to go quickly to the item master. And I know that in Gary's application, you develop screens for dispatching and whatnot. So two things. The other one is warehousing. So in Acumatica, you've got a complete stocking and non-stocking system to work off of with a multi-warehouse, multi-site, multi-bin warehouse management system. The warehouse management system includes things like wave picking and directed put away. Directed put away is a big one. A lot of packages like Great Plains don't have that. So when you have a rapid turn warehouse, you're not stocking stuff in the same place all the time. You're turning it over all the time. So you want to know what bins are empty so that when stuff comes in, you can stock it, track it, ship it, and then have that space available to use again. Acumatica provides for that. So let's see here. Anything else? The other thing is that Acumatica has a complete service series with equipment management. So you, in terms of fleet maintenance and management, there's some functionality in there. And you notice in the warehouse, you had vendors with replenishment. So there's all this replenishment logic baked into Acumatica, not only in terms of like min-maxes and safety stocks and order policies, in terms of the kind of stock you want on hand at all times. Think oil for your truck fleet, and just the basics, just to make sure you never run out. And now, the other cool thing is that we punch out to the Internet of Things. So here we can go to Maps. In the service series, you're dispatching guys like for HVAC to go fix a water heater or whatever, and you want to track their truck as they're going along and see what route they're taking and how many stops they take in a day and whether or not they're taking too long for lunch and all that kind of stuff, out of the box with Acumatica. Because why? Because it can integrate with that capability that's provided by another vendor on the internet. And then it's easy to map that function to the ERP type transactions that you have in Acumatica. So all of this is like out of the box functionality in the service and maintenance areas. And there's third-party vendors now for restaurant supply companies that have the trucks that drive around town all the time, and they want to track their drivers, and they want, electronic sign-off and stuff like that. So we're going to end up with a mobile app. Now, I mentioned that Acumatica morphs to the size of your computer, but we also have, just for your smartphones, an app you download from the Android or Apple Store that has these functions, and these are mapped to the real estate on your phone. So one is for the customer signing off. Yeah, I got what you said you were going to deliver to me. Another one is for expense management. Why don't you just bring up expense management just for a second? Because I want to show you that it not only has what you would expect for expense management, like, whether it's a hotel or an airplane or whatever, but you can use the camera on your phone, take a picture of like the receipt, attach that to the transaction, and then hit the button, and it will go into Acumatica over the internet. So this is yet another example of non-transactional data, in this case, a picture file. I don't know if it's PNG or not, but it's a picture file that gets attached to a transaction that goes from a mobile app into Acumatica. So I know you guys got all sorts of applications in trucking where you want to provide information to the driver and their remote and pick up information from them. All of that is absolutely kind of out of the box in terms of the underlying infrastructure technologies within Acumatica. So that is the 30-minute blow through that took about 40 minutes. I'm going to put